You are not attracting the wrong people by accident. You are selecting them with a part of your mind that does not care about your happiness. And if that feels insulting, good, because it means we are close to the real mechanism. Quick thing before we go deeper. We are building toward our first 1,000 subscribers, and your subscription genuinely helps this channel reach people who actually want psychology, not fluff. If this hits a nerve, tap like too. It tells the algorithm this is worth spreading. All right. If you keep ending up with the same type of friend, partner, boss, or almost relationship that drains you, it is not because you are unlucky. It is also not because you do not know your worth. That is a slogan, not an explanation. Here is what I've observed across a lot of people who are smart, self-aware, and still trapped in the same pattern. You are not choosing people. You are choosing roles. You are choosing a familiar emotional job description. And then you are shocked when the person who applied for that job acts exactly like the job demands. So let me give you a different frame. Your brain has two parallel goals in relationships. One is obvious: connection, safety, love. The other is quieter and more powerful: predictability. Your nervous system will often prefer predictable pain over unpredictable peace because predictable pain is controllable. You already know how to survive it. Think about that for a second. If your earliest experiences taught you that closeness comes with tension, distance, or emotional volatility, then calm intimacy does not feel safe. It feels suspicious. Your body reads it as waiting for the other shoe to drop. You might even feel bored, and you will call that boredom lack of chemistry. Now here is where it gets interesting. Chemistry is not always attraction. Sometimes chemistry is pattern recognition. It is your brain seeing something it has rehearsed. The first major mechanism is what I call emotional autocomplete. Like your phone predicting the next word, your nervous system predicts the next emotional sequence. You meet someone new, you get a tiny data sample, and your brain fills in the rest based on old templates. Not because it is stupid, but because that is how learning works. The brain is a prediction machine. So if your template says, "I must prove my value to be kept," you will feel an immediate pull toward people who are hard to please. If your template says, closeness equals being controlled, you will feel pulled toward avoidant people because they feel safer at a distance. And then you will chase them because your system cannot tolerate the ambiguity. If your template says, "My needs are inconvenient," you will feel drawn to people who subtly punish needs, because that punishment feels like home. This is not poetic. There is research around internal working models in attachment theory that basically says your early relationships teach you what to expect from others and what to do to keep proximity. Your expectation becomes your behavior. Your behavior shapes what you get back, and then you call it fate. Let me show you what I mean with a concrete example. You meet someone who is charming but slightly inconsistent. They text intensely for 2 days, then disappear for 1 day, then come back with a big apology and another intense wave. A secure system sees that and goes, "That is unstable. I will pass." But your system might light up. Why? Because intermittent reinforcement is addictive. It is the same schedule that makes gambling addictive. The unpredictability produces dopamine spikes. Your brain confuses dopamine spikes with love. Notice the pattern here. It is not that you attract inconsistency, it is that consistency does not register as emotionally meaningful in your system. You ignore it like background noise. The wrong people feel bright, sharp, urgent. The right people feel at first dim. And that brings me to the second mechanism, and this one is uncomfortable. Your standards are not actually standards. They are often moral cover for your nervous system's preferences. People say, "I have standards. I want someone honest, kind, emotionally mature." Okay, but in the moment, the selection is being driven by microsignals your body associates with familiar dynamics: dominance, withdrawal, neediness, intensity, emotional unavailability, unpredictability. Those signals can be wrapped in a pretty personality, but the nervous system does not care about the wrapping. It cares about whether it recognizes the dance. So you think you are choosing based on values, but you are often choosing based on arousal. Not sexual arousal only, nervous system arousal. Activation. Here is a simple test. When you are around a healthy person, do you feel more open or more restless? Do you feel more like yourself or like you should perform? If you feel like you should perform, that is not attraction. That is auditioning. Now, the third mechanism is even deeper, and most people miss it because it sounds too strategic to be emotional, but it is real. Secondary gain. You get something from choosing the wrong people, not consciously, but functionally. If you consistently choose emotionally unavailable people, you never have to face what you would do with real intimacy. If you choose chaotic people, you never have to sit still with your own thoughts. If you choose someone who needs rescuing, you never have to confront your own needs because their crisis gives you a role and a purpose. This is why simply raising your standards does not work, because your pattern is not a belief. It is a solution to a deeper fear. Let us make it sharper. There are 3 common hidden contracts people bring into relationships. Contract 1: if I earn love, I am safe. This attracts people who make you earn it. Contract 2: if I stay needed, I will not be abandoned. This attracts people who are needy, unstable, or underfunctioning. Contract 3: if I never fully commit, I cannot be fully hurt. This attracts unavailable people because it lets you pretend you want closeness while never actually risking it. And if you have been stuck in this cycle, you probably have one of these contracts running in the background like malware. Stay with me, because the next part recontextualizes everything. The question is not, why do I attract them? The real question is, why do I fail to filter them out early? Because you are not powerless. You have a filter. It is just tuned to the wrong signal. Think about dating apps, networking, friendship groups. There are always wrong people available. The difference is not who shows up. The difference is who you let in past the first and second gate. So what is happening at the gate? Your gate is controlled by what I call your threat to reward ratio. People do not choose relationships based on goodness. They choose based on perceived reward relative to perceived threat. And here is the twist. If you grew up in an environment where love and threat were fused, your brain learned that threat is part of reward. The ratio is skewed. That is why someone calm can feel not exciting, while someone slightly cruel feels confident. Someone consistent feels boring, while someone inconsistent feels special. Your brain is mislabeling signals. Now watch what happens when we apply this to red flags. Most people think they ignore red flags because they are naive. No, you often ignore red flags because your identity depends on a certain self-image. Maybe your identity is, I am the understanding one. Then you will interpret boundary violations as wounds you can heal. Maybe your identity is, I am independent. Then you will interpret emotional distance as respect, even when it is neglect. Maybe your identity is, I am low maintenance. Then you will interpret your own unmet needs as maturity. This is not about being stupid. It is about identity maintenance. Social psychologists have shown for decades that humans protect identity even at the cost of comfort, because identity gives coherence. You would rather suffer in a familiar story than thrive in a story where you do not know who you are. And now we hit the part that most people do not want to hear. Sometimes you keep attracting the wrong people because being chosen by the right people would force you to change. If a healthy person chooses you, there are fewer excuses. You cannot blame their chaos for your anxiety. You cannot blame their distance for your obsession. You have to face your own patterns directly. That is terrifying if your coping strategy has been to attach to someone else's dysfunction and call it love. So what do you do with this without turning it into self-blame? You switch from moral language to systems language. Not I attract bad people because I am broken. Not that. It is, my nervous system is optimized for a certain environment. I am now living in a different environment. I need to update the settings. And updating the settings has a specific process. I will give you a framework that is more practical than heal your inner child while still respecting the depth. I call it the 3-filter reset: signal, speed, and self-cost. Filter 1 is signal. You stop asking, do I like them? And you start asking, what signal am I responding to? Is it warmth? Is it consistency? Is it curiosity? Or is it dominance? Is it scarcity? Is it volatility? Is it the sense that you have to win them? A trick that works. Name the signal out loud in your head. This feels exciting because they are unpredictable. This feels intense because I am not sure I am safe. When you name the signal, you move from limbic reaction to prefrontal awareness. You create distance. Filter 2 is speed. Wrong relationships accelerate because speed bypasses discernment. Fast intimacy is not intimacy, it is a merger. It is skipping the data collection phase. If you tend to attract the wrong people, you need a deliberate delay, not as a game, as an experiment. You slow down physical intimacy, emotional disclosure, commitment language, and constant texting. Why? Because inconsistency and manipulation collapse under time. Secure people can tolerate pacing. Unstable people experience pacing as rejection and will punish you for it. So pacing becomes a diagnostic tool. If someone reacts to your reasonable pace with guilt trips, pressure, or withdrawal, they are telling you who they are. Believe them. Filter 3 is self-cost. This one is the killer question. What does it cost me to be with this person right now? Not later. Not if they change. Right now. Do you lose sleep? Do you abandon routines? Do you feel hypervigilant? Do you edit your personality? Do you feel smaller? Do you feel like you have to manage their mood? Your body keeps a ledger even when your mind is romanticizing. Self-cost is the most honest metric you have. Now, a lot of viewers hear this and think, okay, so I should choose the person who feels calm. Not exactly. Because calm can also be numbness. The goal is not calm. The goal is regulated aliveness, a sense of energy without threat. Here is the ultimate insight that ties everything together. You keep attracting the wrong people because your relationship template is doing what templates do. It is trying to recreate a familiar emotional climate so you can run familiar strategies inside it. That is it. That is the whole machine. The wrong person is often just the right person for your old strategy. If your old strategy is earning, you will find people who withhold. Nor if your old strategy is rescuing, you will find people who collapse. If your old strategy is chasing, you will find people who run. If your old strategy is avoiding, you will find people who demand. Not because the universe is testing you, because your behavior, your attention, your tolerance, and your pacing are selecting for the environment where your strategy makes sense. So the real work is not hunting for better people. It is retiring the old strategy. And this is the part that feels strange at first. When you change strategy, your attraction patterns temporarily break. You will feel less spark. You will feel uncertainty. You might even grieve. Because your brain is detoxing from a reward system built on volatility. If you have ever wondered why you go back to the same type even when you know better, it is not ignorance. It is withdrawal. So here is a simple challenge you can run this week. When you meet someone and you feel that immediate pull, do not act on it yet. Ask one question. What problem is my body trying to solve by choosing this person? Is it trying to solve loneliness? Is it trying to solve self-doubt? Is it trying to solve the fear of being ordinary? Is it trying to solve the fear of being seen? Because once you see the problem, you can solve it directly. And then you do not need the wrong person as a solution. If this changed how you see your patterns, tell me in the comments what your default strategy has been: earning, rescuing, chasing, or avoiding. And the next time you feel chemistry, remember this. Some sparks are not connection. Some sparks are a warning system you learn to ignore.